Lock her up! 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 She tried to fight COVID-19! Lock her up! Lock her up! What is happening to this fucking country? We're losing our goddamn minds. I mean, seriously. If you've seen the Trump rally from today, then you would know that days after Governor Whitmer almost lost her life to a domestic terror plot from far right-wing extremists who were disaffected that she tried to fight COVID. I mean, I really don't. There's no justification. There is no reason. There's stated reasons, but those themselves are not reasons. There's no reason to kidnap and execute a governor. There's no reason. Like, literally, unless they were committing, like, a genocide of some sort. There's no reason. Sorry. And even then, like, you should probably do due process. So, let's get into today's video. Welcome to the channel. I'm Light, and I'm losing my mind, much like the country. So, today at a Trump rally, as his fucking radical right-wing base was going insane, chanting, "Lock her up! Lock her up! Lock her up!" to Governor Whitmer, randomly still. Oh, Jesus. If they haven't gotten over Hillary in 4 years, they're not going to get over this girl in, like, the next millennia. Like, she's going to be long gone and dead and voted out or whatever the fuck, and there's still going to be some long ancestral line of, man, that time that Whitmer tried to fight that pandemic, she should have been locked up, brother. It's really pathetic, and it's really just sad. And honestly, like, I can't fucking believe every day. It's going to get redundant a little bit, but I just can't fucking believe that there's anybody supporting this guy. Let alone an entire legion of retards. Like, anybody supporting him. Anybody. It's unfathomable. It's completely unfathomable. Then, in response, he went, "Lock her up." Lock them all up. Who's he talking about? Lock who up? Your political enemies? Mr. Law and Order by the book? Because last I fucking checked, there's no law and there's no order in anything you do. And there's specifically no law that says that you are able to fucking just randomly lock up any political opponent that you don't agree with on them governing something. I mean, you're insane. You're losing your mind. And I think your followers are losing theirs a little quicker than you. Sadly. Because you're gone. Let's see here. Also, there's also a giant contingent of just a big streak and big heaping dose on the top of anti-democracy, with them all unironically and enthusiastically chanting, 12 more years! 12 more years! 12 more years! 12 more years! Because they want him to get elected now for 12 years instead of 4. I mean, like, they really wouldn't have any problem with that, by the way. I want you to know that. I want you to know that, like, if anybody tries to pass it off as like, oh, what, he don't understand sarcasm? It is sarcasm, such as when I suggested injecting bleach into thine arm. It was sarcastic. You cannot detect the sarcasm, good sir. Okay, it's not sarcastic at all. They literally wouldn't have any single problem with that. They would literally elect him for 12... They would elect him for life. Like a Supreme Court justice. They wouldn't bat a fucking eye. They would love to do that. They don't give a fuck about how this country works. At all. Now, not to say that, like, I'm some big, like, believer in term limits. I'm not necessarily. Like, I think that there should be endless term limit. Like, there should not be any term limits, but each term should be 4 years. I like that. 4 years at a time, but you have to get reelected every 4 years. And even then, like, maybe you could, you know, some people say 2 years, I don't know. I think that's a little more fickle, and it's harder to do anything with an administration with 2 years. But 4 years at a time, no term limits. I'm not saying that like I'm some big super term limit guy, but that's how this country works right now. And it sure as hell wouldn't be good to elect anybody for just 12 years at a time. And you can't do anything about it. No, of course that's not good. And not to mention, I don't think fucking Donald Trump has 12 more years in him. Do you? Does anybody fucking kid themselves into thinking this motherfucker's gonna last 2 more years? This motherfucker's out. He's on his way out. I mean, I would be shocked if 12 years from now he's alive. I would be utterly shocked. So yeah, continuing with the lock her up times fucking infinity. He then went on to say, is there any better place to ever be than a Trump rally? The crowd goes wild. That's just, like, if you watch the clip, and I don't have a fucking, at all, any kind of budget or, like, anything to work with here. I'm working from scratch, so I can't show it to you yet. But as soon as I can have that capability, I will be showing you that kind of shit. If you go watch the clip of him saying, you literally could have replaced him and replaced the word Trump with Jim Jones and the word Jim Jones. Is there any better place to be than at a Jim Jones sermon? Ah! It would have looked and sounded and meant the exact same things. They are a cult. They're a cult. They are an absolute cult who worships him. They think he cannot do any wrong. They think that they work backwards from their conclusions, that the conclusion is great, and they have to use everything. They start from there, great. And then anything that you hear them arguing with is just backwards from their conclusions, justifying this thing that they're never going to let go. So, like, no matter what you show them with the handling of COVID, the threatening to use the U.S. soldiers on our own soil, no matter what you show them, the outsourcing 300,000 jobs, the increasing drone strikes 432%, the fact that he refuses to do anything on healthcare, especially during a pandemic, but also before then, no matter what you show them, they'll use some way to justify it. And it's like literally almost like arguing with like somebody who thinks the universe is 6,000 years old. Like, they're never going to let that go. And any argument, like, well, here we go. Like, I literally could prove to you that this thing that was made by humans was 10,000 years old. And they're just like, no, it wasn't. That was put there. The dating's wrong. All this stuff's wrong because the 6,000 years has to be right. It's the same absolutely unflinching, unwilling to accept any new perspective mindset that is locked into these people. And they're locked in on it to the not to some book. That's bad enough. Not to some book that billions of people agree with. They're locked into it to the president of the United States of America. Somebody who's got access to the red button. Somebody who can send troops to any country he wants. They're locked in with that kind of mindset to someone with that kind of power. And they literally wouldn't care at all, by the way, if he was elected for life, like I said. I would care deeply and be very sickened if Joe Biden was elected for 12 years. They wouldn't at all give a fuck if Trump was elected for 12 years. This is the kind of people we're working with here. Now, as a closing thing, I almost got off the clip and was about to jump on here, and then all of a sudden, right before I turned off the clip, I heard something that really terrified me a little bit. Especially after, like I said, this is days after her life was threatened. He says, hopefully you will be sending her packing soon. Talking to the people in Michigan. I think that whoever has not locked Trump up should be locked up. And then he himself should be locked up. How much closer of a direct threat of violence can you get than that? How much closer? You fucking tell me. How much fucking closer to a direct threat on somebody's life Can you get than that? Especially when you're the president and you know that you have a fucking legion of insane people that are eating every word out of your mouth. How much closer can you get? He knows what he's doing. And he knows what he's responsible for, whether or not he admits it. He knows. He's a retard. Sorry, that's offensive. I can't help it. That word is drilled into my head. Especially when talking about Trump. He's an idiot, but he's not that dumb. He does understand that he has this influence, and that I think he also understands that he basically was the catalyst of the Michigan attack. I really do think so. There's not a doubt in my mind that he understands that. And he's yet going to continue to get on television, on the national stage, with his rally that is a peaceful... He made this weird big... He always likes to make up some bullshit. Now, today's made up bullshit is, they don't want us to call it a rally. We can't call it a rally, so let's call it a peaceful protest. What the fuck are you talking about? You're fucking insane. You're talking to yourself and the walls. Nobody's telling you this. So he was like walking, like talking about, oh, we can't call it a rally. At his rally, that I will call, and everyone always has called a rally, he just keeps stoking the threats of violence against sitting governors of the United States and other officials. Get him the fuck out. Vote. And vote for Biden and Harris. So we can have a president who doesn't threaten the lives of your governors and your senators and your congressmen. Please? And maybe who can like actually have an approach to get COVID somewhat under control? Is that too much to fucking ask? America? Jesus. Brace for impact. Republicans. Biden is leading in the polls. And he's leading with seniors. They vote. They never miss a day of voting. You little MAGA boy. You little orange god. He ain't gonna be around much longer, buddy. Biden, Harris, 2020. Thank you, old people. Thank you. Can we all thank our boomers? Our beloved boomers. Thank you, boomer. Thank you, boomer. Goodbye, Trump. Goodbye, Pence. Hello, Boomer Biden. Hello, Boomer Harris. Goodbye, MAGA. Subscribe! Like the light! Comment below. The light is coming.